Did you send that off to MSD? Can you read it? You can't. I can't read it. That's why I think the fact that neither can see it. I thought he was gonna be here. I had to call him earlier.
No, they're one year.
Oh my gosh, I had 3 pens in here earlier and now I don't have one.
No, it's 4 years.
How does that even happen?
Last meeting.
You got them in your pocket? Usually you got a pocket knife in your pocket, not a pen.
What?
Pocket knife. I never expected you to pull out a pen.
So, and very weak. We have no reserve. We have no reserve.
Okay, so
Yeah, because we
I think we're almost ready.
$500 more thousand dollars in the parks budget. Yeah.
We have a lot to do tonight.
And it looks like it's just the way it's trying to shake out with the candidates. The picks who are here. The picks who are here. It's okay. I'll explain it to you sometime. I will. So, Brian, you want to do an invocation? Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Bullitt County Fiscal Court. Today is June the 3rd and it's 6:30 p.m. And so at this time, Magistrate Lima, will you lead us in an invocation and a pledge, please?
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, for your many blessings, Lord. We just pray that you continue to watch over and guide us. The spirit of wisdom and discernment today. Just help us to make good decisions for the county. We just pray that you would be with all those who need you, Lord. Even those who may be suffering or have losses right now. Just pray that you would be with all those affected across the state by tornadoes and floods that still have stuff going on. We just pray that you continue to guide us and direct us. We pray all this in Jesus' name.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Brian. Sam, at this time, if you call the roll to bring the court to order, please.
Yes, sir. Vera Sanders.
Present.
Sean Logston.
Here.
Karen Johnson.
Here.
Brian Bleemel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes,
All present.
thank you. Approval of the minutes for the May 20th, 2025 meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for the May 20th, 2025 fiscal court.
Second.
I got a motion by First District Magistrate Sanders, a second by Second District Magistrate Logston to approve the minutes of the May 20th, 2025 Bullitt County Fiscal Court meeting. Sam, call roll, please.
Logston.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Bleemel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes.
Sanders.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Treasurer's transfer report.
Yes, and the treasurer's transfer report was dated for May 31st and also for June the 3rd. Then I have an interfund cash transfer dated for May the 31st and June the 3rd as well for your approval. June the 3rd, is that? Yes, today.
I'll make a motion that we accept the treasurer's transfer report.
I'll second.
I got a motion by Second District Magistrate Logston, a second by Third District Magistrate Johnson to approve the treasurer's transfer report as presented. Sam, call the roll, please.
Johnson,
Yes.
Flemel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Logston,
Yes.
motion carried.
Presentation and approval of all bills.
I'll make a motion that we approve all bills as presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Second District Magistrate Logston, a second by First District Magistrate Sanders to approve the bills as presented. Sam, call the roll.
Flemel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Logston,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. Do we have any?
There's nobody signed.
Okay, thank you. Presentations, Tom Hall, Rural Secondary Road Program, please, sir. Good evening, Tom.
Good evening, Judge Summers and members of the court. I'm Tom Hall. I'm with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, specifically with the District 5 office in Louisville. And the purpose of our visit today is to seek the court's concurrence on our rural secondary paving program, which I'll talk a little bit about in a minute. But first, I'd like to give some introductions to the folks that are with me supporting our effort. First of all, we got our Matt Bullock, our Chief District Engineer. We have Brandon Watkins, Zachary Jordan Smith, and Jackson Beener. And these three guys do our work in our maintenance and construction out in the field, supporting Blake Nelson, who's our branch manager for maintenance and construction.
Okay.
And I also wanted to give a little shout out for Larry Cheney. He's not here tonight, but Larry Cheney works with me in planning and really coordinates the rural secondary program between our maintenance group and the courts and gets all these meetings set up. Larry's not here, but he really is a helpful presence for me in planning. Okay, so the purpose of the visit is, first of all, the state maintains sort of three different systems of roadways within each county. We have state primary roads, which are big roads like interstates, and we have state secondary roads, which are medium-sized roads like Kentucky 44. And then we have these rural secondary roads, which are smaller roads, and the smaller roads are what we call farm-to-market roads, and they essentially link local access and local roads to our bigger networks, okay? And it's really important that we get the courts, local government's concurrence on what roads to resurface because of that important link between local government and the state road network. And one other thing is that our bigger state roads, like the interstates and Kentucky 44, they're on a kind of a different paving budget, different paving program. And so we don't normally come out and announce or coordinate with those roads. You hear about them through our press releases and all that. But rural secondary, because of the nature of the farm-to-market type road and the link between local and state network, they do require that we coordinate and make sure that we think we're paving the right roads and you guys agree. What I would like to do is give a little report on what we did last year, and let you know how we did. And so last year we made an effort to resurface or work on 4 rural secondary roads. The first one was Kentucky 2674, that's Stringer Lane in the Mount Washington area, from US 31E to Kentucky 44. That resurfacing is done. The second item we resurfaced was Kentucky 2672, which is Knob Creek Road. That's in the northwest part of the county. We did resurfacing from Kentucky 1526 to right around Lake Elmo Road. And that work is done. The third item that we did resurfacing on was Kentucky 1531, that's Dawson Hill or Route Road. And we did resurfacing from Kentucky 1319 to the Bullitt Jefferson line. That's in the northeast part of the county, and that too is done. We had one other item on the list, which was some patching on Deatsville Road, and we deferred that work, and it's gonna be done with some resurfacing, which we're proposing for this year. That's the only thing on our list that didn't get done, but our plan is, if we can get concurrence from the court, we'll do that. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about this year's program, and this is our long sheet where we list all the items. And what I really do is talk about the larger budget. You know, how much money do we have to start with? Where does it all go? And we have to take a few things off the top before we get to actually resurfacing of individual roads. So I'll kind of walk through that fairly quickly. From last year, we carried a balance of $131,605. That's money that we didn't use last year. And then we get an allotment of money for this rural secondary road system. And for Bullitt County, that amount is $1,282,280. So you add those two together, and our total funds available for our RS road program is $1,413,885. And so the first thing we kind of have to skim off the top of that is maintenance money that is used to support our state forces that maintain the rural secondary roads in Bullitt County. And we have 72 miles of rural secondary roads in Bullitt County, and at a cost of about $6,700 per mile. The maintenance cost is $487,300. So if we take that off, the funds available are reduced to $926,585. And then the second item that we take off is what's called flex funds. And flex funds are program dollars that we offer to local governments, the counties, to take some of this money to resurface local roads, county roads. And our understanding is that Bullitt County intends to use those flex fund dollars on county-directed projects. And that program, you'll work with our rural and municipal aid office to direct where those dollars go and get those under agreement. But the amount of money that we'll take off of our rural secondary program is $192,342. So that will leave $734,243 available for us to resurface roads, rural secondary roads. Now, there is one tiny exception, is that we got to take another item off the top, and that's the county judge executive expense, which is $3,875. And that's just dollars that go to the judge's office for helping us administer the program and helping us coordinate these meetings and such. So the total amount we have available to actually do resurfacing of roadways is $730,368. And so our program we're proposing for this year is to resurface two roads. And the first one is Kentucky 1604 Deatsville Road from Kentucky 245 to basically Brownington Road. And that's about 3.2 miles of resurfacing, and that would include the patchwork that we didn't get done last year. That's in the central part of the county. And our cost estimate to do that work is $299,854. So if we take that off of our budget, that leaves us $430,514 to do more work. So the second road item we would like to work is Kentucky 1442. That's Ridge Road in the southeast part of the county, and that's from McCubbin Farm Lane to basically Greenwell Ford Road. And that's 4.85 miles of resurfacing work, and our estimated cost is $501,808. So if we take that off of our available funds, that kind of leaves us with a deficit of negative $71,294. But in horseshoes and hand grenades, that's close enough. Usually at the end, when we do the bidding and we put the projects out for bid, we end up about balanced. And any money left over carries over to the next year. Any small deficit like this would also carry over to the next year. So our intention with these two roads, Deatsville Road and Ridge Road, would be to, if we can get the court's concurrence fairly quickly, we would let them to construction this fall, and we would anticipate the construction being done by July 1st of 2026 next year. So, and really what we're looking for is, unless you have questions or concerns, we would look for concurrence in the form of, I think, of a resolution typically we get from Bullitt County. And that's what we're looking for, and I'm willing to take any questions you guys have.
Well, from where I sit, you picked a couple good ones because we get a lot of opportunities to improve both of them, especially Ridge Road. That's getting close to what I'm going to say gravel, or close to it.
I've got a question. Last time you all were here, we talked about Greenbrier Wells Run Road. And there was a discussion about a traffic count that's going to occur and take place. I haven't really heard an update or anything about that. I was wondering if you had any insight on that. That's a call in my second district where I'm at that I get nonstop. And it's something, obviously out of my control as a magistrate. But that road, as we talked about last time, if you remember, has basically turned into a bypass. I'd say 2 out of every 4 cars that come down 44, if you sit there, they're going to turn on Greenbrier and go over to Flat Lick and then kind of bypass the traffic. But that road is heavily traveled, and I would love to know, how many people's traveling that road, because obviously the condition of it's just deteriorating. It's very bad.
Okay, well, I probably offer up that Keith Griffey has done a lot of work to try and
Right.
see about getting some work done on that bypass. And actually, he's done some great coordination work between us, KYTC, and the county, and also the city of Mount Washington. And we worked with the KIPTA Metropolitan Planning Organization and identified some funding to start looking at a study to actually, what would it take to improve a roadway through there, and what would the improvements need to be, how much might they cost. And a study like that's a real good basis for really going out and lobbying for real funding for real improvements. It's the first step, and that money was awarded just this spring. And, we're anticipating in the next few months getting that money under contract and then hiring a consulting firm. And, typically in a planning study like that, we'd have some public involvement. We would do a lot of traffic counts. We do a lot of safety analysis. And we'd also talk to local officials. And then once all that information sort of gathered together, we ask an engineering consultant to come up with solutions. What's the best idea for a bypass? Is that the right thing to do? And come up with, short and long-term solutions for improving those conditions out there. So we're in a good spot to look at that. And probably in 2014, 2015, there was a short look at that. And there was money kind of dried up, so we didn't finish the look. This is cool because we're going to take a better, more comprehensive look at it and hopefully put ourselves in a position to maybe get some improvement dollars to do some real good.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that.
Okay.
Guys.
Yeah, and usually,
appreciate all the work on Stringer, because that was a job well done, and I know it's a long time coming, but we really appreciate that.
okay, good deal.
So I've got a question on 1604 Deatsville Road.
Mhm.
It says from 245 to Browningtown, but just past Browningtown, probably only a couple hundred yards, there are 2 really bad spots that the state has put some riprap and kind of patched, but they keep kind of eroding off the side. The ditch is really deep.
Mhm.
So you think that might get addressed with this, just a little bit past it?
Does it need wholesale resurfacing or actually maintenance of the road edges?
Well, they have put some riprap on the ditch, then they have put a patch over it, but it was shelled out probably 1.5 foot, and you hit that and it jerks you this way. So there were 2 bad spots, probably 500 yards of Browningtown Road. So I was just hoping maybe they could address that with it, or.
Well, we came to the
maintenance would just be under a different line item.
Yep.
Was this a, quarter mile north of Brownstown?
Okay, well then that probably does take care of that spot.
If there's a spot like that, like I said, they're not just gonna come, resurface over something that won't,
Won't hold.
yes, it'll have to be addressed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I know in my area, I have a lot of people calling me about concerns on Fiscal Road. There's areas where it's just dropping off to the side, but I don't know what that number is. Brian, do you know Fiscal?
At all.
1526?
Yeah.
It goes down to Knob Creek with that 15. There's areas in DoorDash, you get one tire over and
Yeah, I would almost just say that a lot of our rural secondary roads across the state are in similar condition, and, they get built up over time, and, probably the best thing to do would be to mill down the surface before we do the paving, but it adds to the cost, and then that would limit our ability to pave what we can pave, which is not much at this point. So it really comes down to kind of budgeting.
that road is traveled a lot, dump trucks. So it's just created, I mean, there's places you go down like that, It's just, it really needs a lot of attention.
Then I have one other question. So you think this work will be completed by July 1st of next year?
Yes.
As far as the
Oh, yeah.
pre-paving?
Any other questions?
Appreciate your time and
Well,
everything you do.
yeah, we got to pass the resolution though.
I can read it real quick, Judge.
All right.
You got a question?
If I might ask a question, Dave, sir, it's carryover from last year, $130-some thousand from Fiscal Road. Is that enough money to do the work that we did last year, cover that? And will you rebid what you put a bid on last year that didn't get resurfaced?
Yes. The answer is we didn't actually put it out for bid. We just pulled it from our listing from last year, and we're going to put it in with the work this year, and we'll bid it out. But yeah, it should be sufficient. Yeah, it should be sufficient.
So the carryover will cover the cost to do that part of the deep fill that you didn't bid or do last year?
Correct.
It will cover it.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Tammy?
Commonwealth of Kentucky, Bullitt County Fiscal Court, Resolution Number 25-05. A resolution indicating concurrence with the KYTC 2024, should be 2025-2026, rural secondary paving recommendations for Bullitt County, Kentucky as presented. Whereas the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet has presented to Bullitt County Fiscal Court its 2025-2026 rural secondary program, including KYTC's paving recommendations, and whereas it is necessary for Bullitt County Fiscal Court to indicate its concurrence with the paving recommendations as presented or to offer other recommendations, and whereas the Bullitt County Fiscal Court determines it is in the best interest of the residents of Bullitt County to concur with the paving recommendations of KYTC for the 2025-2026 rural secondary program. Now therefore be it resolved that Bullitt County Fiscal Court does hereby concur with KYTC's 2025-2026 rural secondary program paving recommendations as presented for Bullitt County, Kentucky. This resolution having been adopted by the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County, Kentucky during a regular meeting of the 3rd day of June 2025 by a vote of blank for, blank against, and blank abstentions. This resolution shall stand as adopted by the Bullitt County Fiscal Court and shall become effective upon passage and publication as required by law.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we accept the rural secondary road program, Resolution 2505.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Blamo, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson to accept Resolution 25-05, the rural secondary road program for 2025, 2026. Sam, call the roll.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Sanders?
Yes.
Logston?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Flamel?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, and I want to thank you all for the night work that you're doing on Highway 44. It was real pleasant to drive down there today versus Sunday. So it was just sort of like magic. On 44 West, excuse me. So thank you all. Thank you, Tom.
All right, thank you.
Y'all have a great day. Matt, take care, and your
Thank you
staff.
all.
Okay, field training and evaluation program, EMS. Good evening.
Good evening. Hello. Thank you all for allowing me to come talk to you today about this. So since I've taken over some of the stuff in our training department at Bullitt County EMS, one of the things that I have found that we really kind of needed some help on, and we've researched and looked at, was our field training officer program. We have reached out to many other agencies. We've looked at theirs. We've done revamping of everything that we've gotten. And the one thing that kept coming back to me was the National EMS Management Association FTO FTEP program. And what that means is Field Training Officer and Field Training Evaluation. And so we looked into this program. This is a national education or management association. And it attracts providers and leaders in EMS from all over the region, sometimes across the United States, for any one of these classes. She said there was a, can you do the next slide for me? So just talking about it, it's a two-part program. So there's 3 days to help teach us the best ways of training our employees, whether it's new hires, whether it's employees that we already have, ensuring that we are following the right guidelines and the right rules and doing the right things in the safest ways. The other part is managing and evaluating that program, making sure we're up to date on everything that we're doing for our employees. So these classes have a capacity of 32 students apiece. And so what we've kind of decided is that we would send 5 of our employees to this class, to the FTO portion, and then 3 to the managing and evaluating portion of it. So that we have 3 different eyes on this program to make sure that we're going the right way. Go ahead with the next one, please. So to break it down, 32 seats, 5 of them would be ours as internal. 27 we would basically move out to external paying customers. So the total cost for both of those classes is $13,000. And so what we're looking at and doing both sides of this, we would again send 5 and 3, again 32 total for both classes. And we would look at making somewhere around $10,000 for the FTO class and $7,000 for the managing and evaluating class by just allowing external agencies to come and purchase seats in these classes. Okay, next slide. So we're just looking at a cost breakdown here. Again, I said the class was $13,000. The revenue from the tuition alone, we're looking at $17,375. So we would make that plus back just by opening up the seats outside of the ones for Bullitt County EMS. And we're looking at a net revenue profit of $4,300, $4,375. So we factor in some of the other stuff of training avoidance. That's basically finding the people that want to go take this class. I have not found a class in this state yet. I have been looking at these classes for me to go take and trying to do it for months, if not years, and I have not found one of these classes inside of the state of Kentucky. The closest one I found was north of Chicago. So we would end up having to pay somebody to go, the gas, the hotel room, the whole 9 yards. So roughly the return on investment for what I'm going to be asking for here in just a minute is about $12,250. Okay, next slide. So going through that again, we're just looking at the net benefit of it. We're looking at that $12,250 that we would be saving the county, basically, fiscal court, everybody in this process. We'll be making money off of this course just by not having to send somebody away to take these classes to bring them back. And again, we'd be bringing in somewhere around $4,300 profit that would come back to the fiscal court. Next slide, please. So this, on top of us getting the training and making it local, this is going to put national level training, instruction training, delivered here in this county. We would be attracting agencies all over the state. I've been networking with a lot of the training coordinators across the state for EMS, and they are begging for this to be somewhere in the state. By talking to them and to the people at the National EMS Management Association, this class will have no problems filling up because there's not one close enough in this area to get people in. So with that, we would strengthen our relationship with this National EMS Management Association. This is not the only class that they put on. We are looking at other ones eventually. Some of the stuff that would keep us on the cutting edge of, let's say, insurance and Medicare stuff so that we aren't outside the realm of how we're doing those things. Some of it is making sure we're leading and managing our service correctly. But this is just one of them that we were looking at to start with. And it would also put us in a stronger relationship with regional EMS, knowing that we are establishing ourselves as a regional training center. It enhances our employee onboarding. So with this, we're hoping to enhance the way we train our onboarding employees and hopefully lessen that time, making sure we cover the things that we need to cover during that time for successful employees and cut that time down. And it also strengthens the fact that I have FTOs that are out there making sure that our employees that are already out there are still learning the things that we need to learn and doing those things and documenting those things correctly. Again, this really will put us on the map as a regional education center just by having this class in this area. Knowing that they can get something this close to where we're at instead of states away is going to be a big thing and put ourselves on the map. Next slide. So just looking down the line here, this is an implementation timeline that I've come up with. So we've got to secure a facility, finalize course dates, and then coordinate with them on a lot of this. Okay, so they are supplying the instructor and the course for this price. We provide the facility and anything that goes along with that. So tonight I'm coming to you guys for the initial deposit of this class, which we will again make back, and that initial deposit is $6,000. Okay. Once we get that, we get with them and sign the contract. It's rolling. We set the date. I put it out. Everybody signs up for the class. We take the money in for it. Comes directly back to fiscal court that time. The way we're going to do it, we sit down and we have the class, and then this allows us to evaluate how we're doing it and then what we can do in the future to help Bullitt County EMS be the cutting edge of what we need to be. Okay. We are so close to major cities. This is a major recruiting tool. Not only is it recruiting, but it helps us make sure we're on the cutting edge of what we need to do to make sure that we're providing the most for our citizens in the county.
What about playing devil's advocate in the unlikely event that you cannot fill all the seats? Is that deposit returnable? Would they cancel the class or?
So speaking to them, and I understand your devil's advocate, because that was my thing. Why would I want to put $6,000 onto something that I don't know that is going to return? And I flat out told them, I said, I'm not going to ask for $6,000 and then fall flat on our face for 5 people. And I was assured that this class will probably sell out in 2 weeks. I won't have time to think about not having enough people in these classes. This is a sought after class for EMS, and they have a hard time. They turn people away all the time. If it was, I looked at classes for the last year, and I'm really not kidding. They weren't up there 2 months on their website before they were sold out.
Why do you think nobody else is doing it? Chicago's the closest one.
I'm not sure. I think that over the years, in EMS, we haven't put education first. Unlike the fire service or the police departments or anything like that, our funding solely comes from courts, fiscal courts like you guys, or boards. And sometimes that's not on the forefront of things. They want to make sure we're out there making runs and doing things like that and being busy and making runs. And I think it's a big bite for $6,000. But I think the return on the investment of how we're going to do this and the way I have it planned out will not only return us almost $5,000 or $4,400, but it sets us up for the other classes that we plan to offer next fiscal year with our education department that we're trying to build. And this sets us up for success in the rest of that too. So I understand your question as devil's advocate. I was real leery at first until I spoke with them, knowing that there would be no issues getting this filled. I called one agency in Texas to talk to them about taking the class. I was going to try to, convince the director over here to at least pay for the class, and I would find a way there. And when I talked to him, he said that was the second class they've done, and they've all sold out and never had a problem. And I missed the cutoff missed them selling out by like 3 days, and it had only been up less than a month.
How many days is the class?
It's 5 days total. There's 3 days as an FTO and 2 days managing and evaluating the program.
Right.
I think, Michael, to add to that, once the 3 people attend the second part of the program, that gives you all the ability to come back and teach more of our people.
Exactly.
The initial program.
Right.
We were able to build that and teach that ourselves.
Right.
Not necessarily have the certification from the National EMS Management Association, but we will be able to teach it to ourselves at that point.
Yeah, and the successes that we've had at EMS with their training, especially with the EMTA classes that Michael and Jason and Brandon
Yes, sir.
have taught and trained. They're a quality group, and they're looking for opportunities to bring revenue back to EMS outside of the traditional Medicare, Medicaid, and what we get from insurance. And I have to take my hat off to them for researching and to be able to, their days are full, but making them overly, put running boards on their plates, let's put it that way, to be able to put these training classes on, because I've seen some of them. It's not an easy task. It's just like any other training class. I know today they worked with Shepherdsville as well, so they're always out.
3 days a month, we do in-service.
And so,
Today was our first day of the month for in-service. We were at Shepherdsville Fire Station 2.
Yep.
And that's mandatory for all of our employees. So I have 3 sessions, we have 3 sessions a week, or a month, I'm sorry. We line them up with the 24-48 rotation, so all of the fire services in the county are invited. Today we did high-performance CPR, learning about making sure that we are getting the best out of our CPR. We learned about a lot of end-tidal CO2, which I understand that you may not know what that is, but that helps us determine how people are breathing, and we did that all day today. We had a couple of different classes about some new stuff coming down the pike and some documentation things to get better at what we're doing, and we do that 3 times a month. The first Tuesday, the second Wednesday, and the third Thursday. So if y'all ever want to come and evaluate some of that stuff, you're more than welcome to come out. Just send us an email,
Yep.
see where we're at that day. Sometimes we're at Central in the EOC, sometimes we're at Shepherdsville Station 2, sometimes we're at the library.
Where do you intend on this happening, what facility?
So at first, we were trying to see if we could do it at the EOC. We're working on securing something. As of right now, I have to secure the dates before I can secure anything else. That's what my holdup is. And in order to do that, they have to secure their instructor for this. So
Y'all have some dates in mind, or
we're wanting to do it in August.
August, this
And-
coming up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I had some dates that we were talking back and forth, and then when we figured out how big the deposit was, we had to put some brakes on it to make sure that you all were comfortable with us going ahead and doing this first. It is, I'm told, in our budget for the next fiscal year. However, we're also going to bring back that money too. So we just want to try to secure some dates soon before they fill up.
Yeah, my question would be, your presentation sounds great, and I don't think there's any hesitation probably from anybody when you can do more training, especially when there's money that's potentially able to come back. I guess my biggest question is going to be the keys down here and see where, because you're obviously asking us to see where is that money available there? Is it in the budget currently, or?
well, that's where they're going, Keith, in August. Yeah. It'd be August.
But I guess with that question though, when would the deposit be required? You may have to bump the
As
class
soon as
back.
if I send that contract in, they will immediately send out the invoice or whatever for the deposit. That is to secure those dates.
Okay.
Generally, those things are mandatory. So I think once the contract is in place or whatever, it'll be net 30.
Right. Be July.
Okay. So that would come out of your next year's budget, or this upcoming budget.
Yep.
And we've already budgeted for that. Probably some things that probably haven't been discussed too much is we've already put in the works for a bunch of different classes to start bringing in money. That's one of the things that we have been tasked with by our director and deputy director and ops manager, to start putting on more classes that we can pull money into. We're in the middle of the process of putting all of that together. We hope to have it implemented, August
Yeah.
or so.
Sign the contract,
That's
it's like
something that we're
July
working
4th.
on. Again, establishing ourselves as a regional training center. Hoping that we can attract.
I don't know what in the world the field training program consists of, if you'll be like out in the field, if you'll be sitting in a classroom setting, but obviously.
It'll be both.
Any additional education.
For the most part, it'll be in the field.
Okay.
This is where, not always, but this is where you see 3 people on a truck a lot of times.
Yeah.
One of them's being watched. making sure, because they're new to our service, they're learning our policies and procedures, they're learning our protocols. And so these people that we're gonna task with this, the FTOs, are the people that we're gonna train to make sure that they are not stepping out of the realm of what we are supposed to do at Bullitt County EMS until they get to the point that they're trained enough to do it on their own.
Okay, one more question, and obviously, I don't have a problem moving forward as long as the money, but as
Yes.
far as the money that's coming back, when you all collect fees, is the association get that money, then turn around and pay?
No.
Or once you pay your it's a deposit,
So
but
we
what's the
pay the
addition?
deposit,
Yeah,
we charge for the class. I spoke with her, the representative, and you'll see in the handout that I had for you guys, we're gonna charge $375 and $250 for the class. So we've been working on the background with our command staff and finance and stuff about taking cards and stuff for that, which is already linked to fiscal court accounts. It's not necessarily linked to anything to us. So when they pay, they're paying it back directly.
okay, I guess, because the reason I asked that is because we've got our own employees going through the program, so I didn't know if the money had to be paid directly to the association if we got.
Nope.
So you won't have to pay for our own.
I am taking out the 5 that we're doing and the 3 that we're doing, and that's part of that cost avoidance that I have built in here.
Okay.
That's saving us the money to have to pay for them to go through it. We're letting everybody else pay for it.
Right, right.
We're
I
gonna
just
get
didn't
our
know if we had
employees
to,
done
I didn't
for
know if we
free.
just had to pay for it and then we got the money
No,
back.
well, the $6,000 we pay up front, that's the 13 half,
Yeah, that's all
of
we
the
have to
13.
pay, period.
And then when we bring in all that money, we will finish paying the rest of it, and that's what we will have left over is the 40.
Okay, and that's just what I wanted to clarify,
Yeah.
because the word deposit, you think that
Yeah.
there's more coming, you know?
Well, the
that's-
class itself is 13,000,
Right.
6,000 to get everything going. The rest of it is due when the class happens, but they have to pay for the class before it happens. So we will already have that money in before the first day of class, and it will be paid for. The 4375 is what's gonna be left over after everything is paid for,
Okay.
everything completely.
So who came up with these rates at 375 and 250?
So that was with, I came up with the rates between myself and the representative from the National EMS Management Association. Those are common rates that people are charging, is what she was telling me, and actually that's just middle of the road, maybe a little bit higher than middle of the road, just so that we can show that, it's paying for it, we're bringing in some profit. It's a big bite off the apple here.
Have you talked to any like local hotels or anybody to partner with as far as housing? Because obviously Chicago's the closest one, most of these people are probably gonna be coming from outside the area.
I haven't. I've spoke more to regional EMS services. Hardin, a bunch of the fire departments in Louisville. As far as Georgetown, Scott County, Jessamine County. I've spoke to, a lot of them in the state.
So
and
you
they're
anticipate
interested.
the class will be filled up with people who can drive here?
For the most part, people will be able to drive here. People want this class, just nobody's ever done it. And it's like I said, EMS and EMS education is still in its infancy compared to fire and police. So classes like this are happening, we just haven't caught up to the times yet. And that's what we're trying to establish here.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the form of a motion that we accept, the field training and evaluation program as presented with the check in the amount of $6,000 for the deposit being made in the next budget cycle beginning 2025, 2026. Is that okay, Keith, to word it like that? Meaning that I'm okay with it, I think.
Right.
But.
And I agree.
I don't know what you have to work out of the contract, but the check won't be cut until the next budget.
Yes, sir.
If it's net 30, you can get the ball rolling or whatever it is, but the check would be
I
cut
will
in
contact
the
them
next
tomorrow.
budget cycle.
So let me go back over this real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a $6,000 deposit,
Deposit.
okay? And then how much more will be owed?
So it's total of 13,000. So you're gonna have another 7,000 that we owe. And then if you'll look on that front page, the total that we're going to get back from that, charging people for the seats outside of ours, is $17,375. So from that, we'll pay the additional $7,000. So we'll bring in the money before we have to pay the other half, and we're paying the $6,000 back, basically, plus more.
I think it's a no-brainer. I'll second that.
Karen said she'll do hospitality and cookies for one day. She'll sponsor.
Oh, that's awesome.
I
Thank
can
you.
bring some cookies.
Thank
I
you.
like cookies.
Okay. I have a motion by Second District Magistrate Lawson, a second by Third District Magistrate Johnson to accept the field training proposal from EMS and to make the deposit at 30 days. Sam, call the roll, please.
Sanders.
Yes.
Logston.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Flemmel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Mike, Chris.
Thank you all for your time.
Jason.
Thank you.
That's okay. Good to see you again. Okay, the repeater system is going to be tabled. Accepting the bid for the cleanup days dumpsters. It's in the book. Christie's here if you have any questions.
I assume we just have one bid.
That's awesome. Rumpke, is that,
Just Rumpke.
that
Yeah.
makes it pretty easy.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's who we've used for the past several years.
Yeah, it's hard for smaller companies because there's so many dumpsters at a time. They only have to have, probably 6 drivers, 8 drivers. And probably the dumpsters, 8 have to be probably 50 available a day, rotating. So a lot of people have dumpsters.
Well, I'll make a motion to accept the bid from Rumpke for cleanup days.
Second.
I got a motion by Second District Magistrate Logston, a second by First District Magistrate Sanders to accept Rumpke's bid for cleanup days. Sam, call the roll, please.
Logston.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Flemmel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes.
Sanders.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mike, janitorial staff for the Judicial Center.
Try and bring some, doing all I can do.
All right,
I
Bruce.
gave you all these here so you can look at them and I don't have to throw in numbers because I get lost on pages sometimes. This is just a contract, standard contract. I'm with the Judicial Center that sits behind you. As of last Friday, my one and only full-time cleaning staff is retired. I don't know how she did that, but she did. So I have a contract, or the county has a contract with a cleaning company right now, which took place in 2021, I believe, when I went out for hip surgery. We have a contract with a company over there that does the first floor.
Right.
And they are bare minimum basic. If you add anything, you gotta add dollars. But we get it done and the people over there love them. The 2 contracts that you have in front of you are from companies that I had come in to quote cleaning the secured areas. What we're having to clean is the areas behind the secure doors. Everything is in judges' chambers, courtrooms, jury rooms, places that you really need to be cleared to be into because there's paperwork laying everywhere. The 2 contracts you have, the first one there is Covered Cleaning. Covered Cleaning is a company that you all have dealt with this already a few months back. The lady that cleans here, Kim, and I apologize, I don't know her last name, but she does a great job here from the people I spoke with and understand that she does a great job. Most of these cleaning companies, large companies, do not have personal employees. They contract this stuff out. Jantize hires the husband-wife team that cleans the first floor for me. They have their own company, but they work through Jantize on this. All these companies, Kim that cleans this building, she is a business owner with a Rosie, and I do have her name here, Rosie Masterson. They have a business that's called Covered Cleaning. They own this business and they're out all the time. She came in and quoted, and then the other company that we have here is Corvus Cleaning. That is a contract the county has in this building, okay? Due to the contracts, and they're all pretty much standard stuff, I can't, you can't talk with Kim and do this building or approach her about anything else because you're in breach of contract with trying to hire her to do anything else in this building if you're hiring her out from underneath the company. But the two contracts you have in front of you, just so you have the numbers, when I started working on this, I was throwing out different ideas, trying to see if I could get by with 3 days, 5 days a week. What you have on both of those contracts is a 5-day a week and a 3-day a week cost. Well, basically, the 3-day week's just not gonna happen. It ain't gonna work, because it's just too much goes on in that building. And like today, I was in there cleaning up blood in the bathroom today. I mean, that stuff happens daily over there. So the 5 times a week is a necessity. You have covered cleaning to do this 5 days a week, and this will all be, if the court approves this will all be hinged on AOC's background checks. AOC's had these for a week and a half, and just like any other system, they move about the snail's pace too. So I don't have any confirmation back on these, but I was more impressed with covered cleaning than I was Corvus. Corvus has a one-man guy, and I'm not sure he'll pass the background test, but he had one guy that was gonna do this whole thing, and I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Oh yeah, one guy, knock it out." Well, we had one full-time employee, yeah, Bruce is jockeying for a job over here. But my recommendation to the court is to hire this out as opposed to having a county employee, because your savings is gonna come in benefits and having to schedule vacations and sick days, and we're not passing the burden on to me or someone else to have to do this job. So there's a lot of savings there just in benefits alone. The cost that you see there for covered cleaning is $43,644 a year. That's really not bad. If you take a look at one of the papers in there, just kind of highlights the areas to be cleaned. I just kind of jotted a few things down. You got 13 bathrooms, 18 offices, 4 courtrooms, 5 conference rooms, 4 kitchen areas, and 340 feet of hallway. These are daily areas that have to be cleaned. So if you look at the numbers on covered cleaning and then you look at Corvus is a lot cheaper, but experience has taught me cheap is always not the best way out, because I'm biting myself all the time for buying cheap stuff. Corvus will go in and do it for $2,200 a month. But my recommendation to the courts today, if I can get the court's approval to do this, I really need to get them in, because I don't have a cleaning staff. I have the county has a contract on the first floor only. So that's all we're getting clean right now. I have a part-time girl that works for me, but she's in security as well, so she only comes in 4 hours a week, but she takes care of areas that she's familiar with because she's in security, so she cleans those areas. And this is just a fraction of what's in that building. It's a huge building. So what I'm asking the court is if we can get approval for a judge to sign a contract, a year contract with covered cleaning on the cost that you have there annually of $43,644 a year.
What is the salary of the person that's retiring, do you know?
I'm sorry?
The salary of the person that's retiring?
The salary? Yeah, the salary that we have right now on the employee I have, not including the increase or whatever was gonna be in there, is $38,480 is hers.
And that's the one that retired?
Yeah, that's the one that retired. Right, 40,000 is what we budgeted, because that's
So
what we
you're
put.
only talking a little over 3,000?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And
but
we still have benefits on this other.
Yes,
Right.
Benefits
yes,
you have
you
to
got,
pay.
you have no benefits with these people. It's not a burden on anybody to have to cover when somebody's vacation or sick or anything like that.
Did they retire, like, not coming back tomorrow, like we have a void here for a minute?
Yeah, no, she's not coming back.
I didn't know if she.
I don't want to try to talk
I didn't know if
about
she
it.
put her notice in for retirement and made
Yeah,
that
she
known to you,
did
or?
couple of weeks ago, and
Okay.
I come by and kind of briefly mentioned to the judge that, she's gonna be retiring, and this is when I started working on these quotes. I contacted 4 companies, I got two quotes given to me.
Okay, same thing as just with EMS, is this something Keith would wanna do, and just, we've already budgeted that, and go ahead? Yeah, but we're just, huge
Yeah.
out, but I mean,
I'd
the
already done
the
my
money's gonna be
About
spent.
$3,200 more.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all paid up
It's
front
not,
anyway.
yeah,
Is
it's
it a
not a
monthly
big
invoice
significant
or-
there, and I think there's a little bit of wiggle room in my budget, because my budget was already done with Keith before this come to be.
But what, I didn't read in the contract what was due up front. Is it just that they invoice us
No,
monthly?
it's just a
or-
monthly fee, just like the contract
So
that we
we're, I
already
mean, even
have
though
with
we're looking
Jantas.
43,000, we're not looking at that now. We need to get the ball rolling so
Right.
somebody's over there getting a
Right,
background check.
the monthly fee, the way the contract works, I'm not sure Corvus, because I don't have them, but Jantas, we pay the first of each month,
Yep.
I do have one question.
okay?
Is there taxes on that?
No.
Got out.
Well, I don't, no,
thought now-
there's no taxes, but it's plus application taxes and stuff, there's no taxes in it. We don't pay any taxes. I mean, once we give them the tax identification and all that, that's all kind of back burner stuff. We don't pay taxes on that. But the two women that own this company, I met both of them, and I met two of the three people that they sent me to get background checks on. And Judge, you're the only one that has a list of those because of the personal information on it.
Right.
But the two of the ladies that they sent of the three people, they're gonna send in a 3-person team to do this.
Well, I mean, I think it's a no, obviously, you have to deal with them every day. This is your recommendation. We're just talking about a couple thousand over from what the salary
Yes.
staff was. And then when you take into consideration, like Vera said,
Benefits.
401K benefits and everything else, it's a no-brainer. I'll make a motion that we accept the contract from Covered.
Cleaning, covered cleaning.
I'll make a motion that we accept the contract from Covered Cleaning. Do I need to specify any certain amount? As
Maybe
presented.
pending background checks or something. I mean, they've got more employees, but I think the 3 they sent out here will pass.
Yeah.
It's the
In
contract.
the amount of $43,644 annual charge.
Thank you, Magistrate.
I mean, I did notice, but that's probably with about any contract, that they can increase that up to, and you even had, I think, an asterisk beside there, that they have the ability to increase that 10% or something.
Yeah,
possibly.
that's all
But
of them.
That's all of them, pretty much.
We've had Jantas over there since 2021 or since COVID, and
Yeah.
they've not increased it.
They know we're gonna look at this every year, they wanna keep it. So I'll put that in the form of a motion that we accept the estimate and bid from Covered Cleaning in the amount of $43,644 annually.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Second District Magistrate Logston, a second by Third District Magistrate Johnson to accept the Covered contract. Sam, call the roll.
Johnson?
Yes.
Fleenel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Sanders? Logston?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Court.
Tammy, I guess it is the first reading of ordinance 25-18, street legal vehicles.
Yes, Judge, and I've seen some direction on the court on those
Sure.
options, that I sent that out via email, I think, to everybody.
Uh-huh.
And so what's in the packet under section 2 has 4 different options we can do under the law, so before I read it, I've seen some direction on maybe I want to proceed on that.
Okay.
I personally like the opinion of the sheriff. I looked it over really good, and I'm in favor of this overall. I guess my biggest concern is some of these vehicles, the way I understand it's no different than motorcycle, as far as everything that applies. But some of these off-road vehicles, I've got a Honda Pioneer, and it won't go over 42 miles an hour. So I don't know from a law enforcement standpoint, what is, what becomes a concern when something can't keep up with the flow of traffic? I just had that question before I figured out if we need to restrict the speed limit or make that recommendation.
I don't know that I have a, gonna just use
Yeah, yeah.
common sense of the good
Because
Lord.
we're not talking about golf carts, we're talking about off-road vehicles, but a lot of them, like 40 might be an average of some.
I've got a Polaris Ranger, and it'll do 40 to 50 miles.
Yeah.
I don't wanna go that
Right,
fast
right,
on it, because
right.
it's, I don't know that I would want my children or people, but they'll go that fast. Now, my gut feeling is, let them be on roads that are 35 miles an hour and under, not let them be on roads that are higher than that.
Yeah.
And most any road that we have that is a 35 mile an hour speed zone, if somebody's only doing 30 on it, they're not gonna be doing too much about impeding the traffic very long, because our primary roads that the people are zipping along, or should be zipping along,
44, 61, maybe Deepsville Road, going across from 480 over to 245, that one may be a 55-mile-an-hour road. Fells Mill Road. So when you get off onto your Sportsfly Hollow Road, Bogard Lane, Armstrong Lane, really Greenbrier, I think we have I don't recall what the speed limit is on Greenbrier, but I don't think they're gonna cause a great big deal of trouble on those if you were to have it, but the congestion is gonna be, if anything, general congestion being more of a problem with it than just the speed strikes me. But I by no means would, I'm awfully glad that I'm not a traffic engineer. Because trying to figure all that out, I'm still trying to get wrapped around how do we get from midway in the county up north when we have a blockage on 65 and everything's blocked up like a parking lot. I don't know if I helped her.
Hey, Tammy, I know this, I don't remember exactly when this kind of goes in effect, but I mean, I know we have to adopt it, but we're not under a timeline.
It's June 27th.
It cannot be effective before
Yeah, okay,
June
okay.
27, 2025, but that
Right.
date can be
But that
changed.
date doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything to us.
It just can't be effective
This can't
before
take
that
place
date because
before
of the state law, right?
I'd like to make I don't even know if we need to do a motion, but I'd like to table this until the next meeting. I've got a couple I guess I'm really in favor of it overall, but I've got some reservations.
If you want to table it, you'll need to make a motion.
Yeah.
I'd like, if you want to bring anything up before I do
No,
that, I'm gonna make a motion to table it, look over these a little bit longer, and there's a couple people I want to talk about before I make my decision, actually.
Yeah,
Can I ask a question while we're
Yeah, ask
thinking
a
about
question,
it all?
Then I'll make them,
Is, whatever we do dictates what the cities can and can't do?
The cities will do their own. If they decide not to allow it, then it's not going to be allowed on the.
But if we decide not to allow it, then the cities can't do
You're
it.
correct about that.
Okay, so if we don't do it, the cities can't do it.
Right.
If we do it, the cities make up their own rules?
Yes.
Okay.
what about if we restrict the speed limit? Does that, the cities have to abide by that?
Not within their jurisdiction.
Not
No.
within their, so we could restrict it to 35 on county roads, and then the city could say, well, if they're driving through Main Street, they want to drive 55, they can drive 55. Okay.
Yep.
That just makes it a little bit. Yeah, okay. I want to think about, I want to talk, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more, but I'm really in favor of it overall, but I want to make sure it's done right before, so I'd like to make a motion that we table this until the next meeting.
and I'll second that motion.
What is,
Yeah, there's 22 pages of restrictions and stuff outside of what we're even talking, is that how many it was, 20?
It was 22, and they'll have to be registered through
It's
the
just like a
county clerk
motorcycle.
and just like vehicles, like a vehicle.
And golf carts are not, this is
Yeah, no
not
golf
golf carts are illegal. I mean, golf carts are illegal no matter what, right, unless they get a permit and the city is allowed, you can correct me there.
Within the city limits of,
Yeah.
the only city I know of that has passed a golf cart ordinance is Mount Washington. If there are any others, I'm not aware of them. But those golf carts are required to be legal, they have to be inspected at the sheriff's office. I would just about bet that I could count the number of golf carts that have been inspected by the sheriff's office on my hands and feet and have some toes and fingers left over. We don't get many people that are coming to do that, and they're not legal if it's not done that way.
they have to have a license plate, right? That's how you know if they're
They
legal?
don't, not the golf carts, they get a sticker. The city would
A
issue a
sticker?
sticker. after they go through this, and the city's supposed to see that the golf cart has turning signals and this and that and the other and so forth. I'm seeing a lot that aren't done that way. Here's one other caveat or concern I'd raise up. I don't know how many of you, I've got a friend that lives very close to me lives off of Bogard Lane, a guy named Wayne Hagan. Wayne's driving a tractor, moving some hay. His tractor got totaled out on Bogard Lane. Somebody came and that killed him.
Yeah.
You know, so if we do this, and I've got a Polaris Ranger, and it's made with a little bit of stuff, it would qualify. I wouldn't drive my Polaris Ranger on Bogard Lane for nothing. Not gonna do it, not because of what the people that are driving the street, what do we call them? Specialty vehicles, but because of the speeding problem that we have. And it's all over, and I don't have enough. I've got 3 guys that are I have 4 that are assigned, but when you take vacation, training, et cetera, we're blessed to have 3 people that are patrolling. Don't have time to go set up traffic patrol. And it's that's what worries me about it. It's not that they're gonna hold, if I can have a line of traffic behind them, that's gonna be a safe line. It's the ones that are going along and somebody comes over the hill or around the curve and they're doing 50 or, this or that, where they ought to be doing 25. That's my concern.
So with.
Table. I need a second.
Table it.
Judge.
I did. So, Sam, call the roll.
Flamel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Logston,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next one's agreement with Windstream for the fiber optics. And to put that into perspective, we went through the presentation last week. Brandon, you might, just in case they have some questions. But from where I sit, it saves the county money. It gives us what I'm going to say, major entity in this county will have their own fiber optic network, where right now it comes directly into this courthouse. And if this courthouse goes down, literally none of our ancillary buildings have communication abilities, from EMS to the jail to the road department, county clerk, and even the opportunities over at the sheriff's office and ALC. So,
Judge, may I?
Go ahead.
Yeah. I just, Magistrate Johnson brought up one point too, which I would like to address, is that, there's standards within telecom that we should all be meeting. And in some cases, they don't. And it's not necessarily the company itself. It's the person you get on the phone, not wanting to do their job. It's easier to press you on because they'll never hear from you again. You'll talk to somebody else. So one thing I do want to ensure to you guys is that, one, the relationship with Bullitt County is not like a residential relationship. One, I am the point of contact, not somebody in Bangladesh or India. I am the point of contact. And if I'm not, then Lincoln, our operations manager, is. Travis Roberts, who you guys have met, he's our engineer. We have several points of contact in the sense of if the county was to experience something. But just that way in general with the commercial side of the business. With residential, there's millions of customers. Commercial, there's thousands. So we have a whole department established for that. So on the commercial side, there is a lot more urgency when it comes to things. But one of the things that does come with the fiber service that we're giving the county is what's called a 4-hour SLA. It means we have 4 hours contractually that we have to meet the demand to get it fixed. Not meaning we're going to get it fixed in 4 hours, but we need to have our butts in gear getting it fixed in 4 hours. And then within that, after 24 hours, we actually start reimbursing the county for not having it done. So that's one of the benefits of a dedicated fiber. So I just want to make that clear that, we've all had experiences with telecom companies. I work for Verizon. I have a litany I can give you just from working there. But what I would tell you is that the county is going to be in a different standard, just like the commercial side. You guys have 4-hour response times. You have me as a contact. You have Travis. You have Lincoln. And all of these people live, I live in Hart County. I can't say it, but they all live here in Bullitt County. So they're just a call away. So.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry about that, by the way. It's getting fixed tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Unless there's any other questions, I'll make a motion that we accept the agreement for Windstream fiber optics.
Second.
I got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 4th District Magistrate Blamewell to to accept the agreement from Windstream Fiber Optics. Sam, call roll, please.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Sanders?
Yes.
Logston?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Flamel?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Patrick.
First reading of ordinance 2517 relating to the 2025-2026 budget. Keith?
Thank you, Judge. I presented this to you all a little over a month ago. Have talked to, I think, everybody, and the judge has as well. A couple of issues that you all had, I think we've addressed those, and that will show up in this budget that you have, which is different, looks a little different than the one that was presented. Tonight, this is the first reading. There's no action to be taken. However, as soon as I finish this, as soon as I read this and present it, we do have a resolution that you all will have to vote on for the annual standing order. Having said that, the budget is it will be presented. Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, ordinance number 2517, an ordinance relating to the budget of Bullitt County for fiscal year 2025-2026. Be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, whereas the proposed budget was tentatively approved by the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County on the 3rd day of June 2025 and approved as to form and classification by the State Local Finance Officer. Section 1, the following budget is adopted for the fiscal year 2025-2026, and the amounts stated are appropriated for the purposes indicated in the summary analysis set forth. 1, General Fund, General Government, $8,893,215. Protection to persons and property, $822,830. General Health and Sanitation, $1,051,620. Social Services, $200,000. Recreation and Culture, $1,346,430. $1,346,434. Debt service, $0. Capital projects, $526,000. General services, $962,000. Contingent appropriations, $2,811,701. Fringe benefits, the employer share, $2,235,000. Total general fund, $18,848,800. Number 2, road fund, roads, $4,126,882. Fringe benefits, employer share, $722,000. Total road fund, $4,848,882. 3, jail fund, protection to persons and property, $5,156,116. Fringe benefits, employer share, $1,305,500. Total jail fund, $6,461,616. LGEA fund, protection to persons and property, $7,900. Roads, $952,100. Total LGEA fund, $960,000. 7, federal grants fund, protection to persons and property, $400,000. Total federal grant funds, $400,000. 9, EMS fund, protection to persons and property, $5,588,530. Administration, $2,032,650. Total EMS fund, $7,621,180. Forest fire fund, protection to persons and property, $2,000. Total forest fire fund, $2,000. Clerk storage fund, clerk storage, $130,000. Clerk storage, total clerk storage fund, $130,000. Dispatch fund, protection to persons and property, $1,992,914. Debt service, $0. Administration, $552,540. Total dispatch fund, $2,545,454. ARPA fund, $0. Total ARPA fund, $0. Opioid fund, $175,000. Total opioid fund, $175,000. Grand total all funds, $43,016,667. The ordinance shall be published in the Pioneer News newspaper by title and summary within 30 days following adoption. The ordinance becomes effective upon passage and publication. Notice of availability. All interested persons and organizations in Bullitt County are hereby notified that a copy of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court budget in full is available for public inspection in the Office of the County Judge Executive during normal business hours. Given the first reading at a meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 3rd day of June, 2025. As soon as we get this back from the state blessing this, we'll be able to set a time for a second reading, and that's when action will be taken. No, I can't take any questions from this. This is a draft of this, so I really can't go into that right now. I'm sorry. Yeah. Resolution number 2506. This is what you all have to vote on. The annual standing order to pre-approve certain recurring expenses pursuant to KRS 68.2753. The fiscal court may adopt an order to pre-approve the payment of monthly payroll and utility expenses, to make payments by means of electronic fund transfers, make technical changes, permit a standing order for county payments to include payments made to vendors regularly providing services to the county. No other expenses shall be pre-approved pursuant to this subsection without the written consent of the state local finance officer. The fiscal court of Bullitt County, in accordance with state law, hereby orders recurring expenses for payroll and utilities, vendors regularly providing services to the county to be paid when due. The above standing orders shall expire after July 1st of each fiscal year, and no more payments designated in the standing order shall be pre-approved unless a new order is adopted by the fiscal court of Bullitt County according to the provisions of KRS 568.2753. This is the one you all have to. This was changed. Before it was just payroll and utilities, but House Bill 555 amended that. I have a copy of this as well. So that's what there needs to be a motion and be voted on so that we can do this.
You didn't give us a copy of that?
No, that's just for, Sam's got a copy of it.
So we need a motion for the resolution number 25-06 for the outstanding order to pre-approve.
Right.
Right.
These are the bills that, and Ken Ann can explain that probably better.
Bills that are paid outside of the fiscal court bills. These are recurring bills that happen in between the court meetings. Yes.
And the addition to that was the regular vendors, or semi-regular vendors.
Right.
The House of Representatives passed this. Vendors regularly providing services to the county. That's kind of broad. But it also is electronic funds transfers. Ken Ann and I have talked about this. We think in a few years there probably won't be checks written. It'll all be done by this. So the House of Representatives, and it went through the Senate, and it passed. So it is law now that we can do these things.
Yeah.
So I make a motion.
I'll second.
I got a motion by First District Magistrate Sanders, a second by Second District Magistrate Logsdon to approve the standing order. Sam, call the roll.
Sanders.
Yes.
Logsdon.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Flemel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you.
Sam, when you get that signed by the clerk, if you can send me that, because I have to send that to the state as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Walt or Justin, the sheriff's 2024 tax settlement?
Good news, great news. We, this year, have collected 100% of the $133,461,785.89 of taxes. We have distributed all those taxes, with the exception of, and the person that's responsible for seeing that all of this stuff gets done and has done such an outstanding job is sitting right here. Justin, he advises me that the 74 cents that is still left due and owing to the Bullitt County Sheriff's Office, we believe has to do with the rounding of numbers. So it's, we've got, I think all of you have been distributed the various sheets that show how the distribution went. We need to get this approved so we can get our quietus and then start on the next tax year. I want to note for everybody, the year before I became sheriff, my recollection is that we collected less than $80 million in taxes. And so in this short few years, Bullitt County has boomed along, and it has a lot to do with the good work that you all are doing collectively, and, led by the county judge. And it's like nothing I've seen since I started working here in 1980. So thank you very much.
What was the total that you all collected, just the first three? How many million?
Right.
$133,461,785
Yeah,
and some change.
yeah,
About 50 million, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And do I send you all that pie chart that I've
Yes.
done up?
Yep.
So you got it, and that
We-
shows folks how little of that
We get.
133 million the county gets to run
Absolutely.
everything that you all do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Justin, Amber,
And
thank
Judge,
you.
we need a motion by the court to
Okay.
approve it, and then.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion that we accept the Sheriff's Office 2024 tax settlement.
I'll second.
got a motion by Second District Magistrate Logsdon, a second by Third District Magistrate Johnson to accept the Sheriff's Office 2024 tax settlement. Sam, call the roll.
Logsdon?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Flamel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Sanders?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Well, Justin, thank you all. And that 74 cents, I'm sure, is nothing but rounding. Okay, let's start with Brian tonight.
Okay, so we've already had the resolution and passed it for the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
Uh-huh.
And I have my nominee here tonight, Ms. Tricia Moats. And I would like to nominate her for a 4-year term.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll make that motion.
I have one too.
Okay,
I'm going to do them one at a time.
right. Okay. Okay. So Tricia Moats for a 4-year term. Is the rest of the court in agreement with that?
I'll second.
Okay. Well, because there's different terms, that's why I'm asking. It depends on who wants what. Okay. Sam, call the roll.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Does the judge need to make that motion, or can Brian?
Yeah, I don't,
The way we drafted that resolution,
Uh-huh.
each member gets to nominate someone.
Okay, so he can make the motion.
yeah, because it's not and Sam, all of this is just advisory. There's no, they can't take action, they can't vote on anything, and they can't hold the court accountable for nothing.
Okay.
Okay?
Johnson?
Yes.
Flamel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes,
Sanders?
Yes.
Logsdon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
thank you. Okay. You got anything else tonight, Brian?
That's really all I've got for tonight.
Okay. Karen?
I also have my nominee here, Terry, from the city of Hillview. Terry Bohannon. Could she get up and introduce herself?
Sure,
Tell a little bit
absolutely.
about her,
She sure can.
so that the court can make the vote?
Come on up here to the podium, Terry. I think you're familiar with that.
So I'm Terry Bohannon. I served as the Recreation Director for the City of Hillview from 2006 until January 2025, and I was fortunate enough to be able to retire. In those years, we implemented several programs, volleyball, soccer, men's league basketball, youth league basketball. We have a Winterfest, a back-to-school bash, Easter egg hunts. We put in a fitness center, splash pad, and then in addition to the splash pad, a walking path, built a new gym, gosh, I don't know, it was something going on all the time. Very taxpayer money paid for, like, the electricity, my salary, the lady that cleaned, because my job, part of my job was taking care of the buildings too, the cleaning and keeping them up, not maintenance, but, you know, just cleaning and keeping things stocked. I had a part-time lady to help me with that, but other than that, it was volunteers and myself. We did the Thursday night fish fry with, for a long time, I was the only paid employee that did that. And the music, just mainly volunteer, ran, and one person. And I'd like to see the county be able to do some things like that, just, you know, seek volunteers and seek sponsors. Love to see the pool open back out there. I'm hearing that it's, you know, may not happen, but I'm willing to do whatever I can do to get that going.
Okay.
And
Thank you,
I'm
Terry.
still interested in that I'm still an animal activist, so you're not off the hook there either.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'd like to make the motion for the appointee for the Parks Department, for
Sure.
Terry Bahan.
Thank you.
And I'll second it. Sam, call the roll.
Flemmel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Logston,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, for clarification, what year? It's
what
1,
term?
2, and 3 left, Tammy? Yeah.
What would you like, Terry? 1 year, 2, 3? Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
We
Okay,
can handle it.
all right. So,
Trish is like, they didn't give me that option.
Thanks for all you've done.
okay,
Thanks for all you've done for Hillview. It's been great watching you through the years. And, thanks for coming out of retirement to come in and help us out a little bit.
okay. All right. Anything else, Tammy?
The sirens do work well in Hillview over at the Maryville pool. I heard them loud and clear tonight, and it wasn't even bad weather, so I figured it was just the monthly testing at 6 o'clock. So I was well in Hillview.
Okay, thank you. Sean?
Got one thing real quick. I've got suckered into being the auctioneer this Sunday, and I've helped the last couple of times with the Shepherdsville Buckman Street beautification at Paracott Springs. This Sunday, they said you were going to make a cake last year, but I didn't see you. This Sunday from 1 to 3.
I can give them some onions this year if they want them.
This Sunday from 1 to 3, they're having, they have salad, pasta, breadsticks, dessert, and it's all made by Paracott Springs. Really, really good. And I can't remember the price, but it's like stupid cheap. $5. It's like, 1 to 3 is the food, and then 3 to 4 will be the auction. So at 3 o'clock, the auction starts, and then we'll auction off cakes. And they're accepting cakes, so if anybody wants to make a cake, you can drop it off that morning there. And I think the drop off from 9 to 11 that morning. So if you want to make a cake and put it in the cake auction, they're accepting cakes for that. But yeah, the whole event will run from 1 to 4. 1 to 3 is the dinner, and 3 to 4 will be the actual auction. But I've helped the last couple of times. It's been a lot of fun. They'll usually get 25, 30 cakes with a lot of people in the community that makes these and brings them out, and they raise money. And you can help me out more what they do with the money, but I think a lot of the whiskey barrels, flowers, benches, all down, so it affects, our building and us right here. So they do a lot with that money to help kind of beautify the area. So just want to invite you to that. If you don't have plans Sunday, come spend the afternoon with us. Outside of that, I don't have anything else. My person that I'm nominating, I've reached out to a couple people, clarified how many times, they want to know how many times before I put them on the hook, how many times are they going to be meeting, what's the requirements and that type of thing. So I got a little bit more information that I'll pass on to them and make my decision very soon.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. And I will have a cake for you.
Oh, you gonna make one or buy one?
I'll make one.
Okay.
I'll make one. I'll make you butter shots cake. Butter shots.
Butter shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Vera?
The only thing I had is I'd like to appoint Shirley Jo Kaufman for the Recreation Advisory Board for 2
2 years. What'd you like to say?
I haven't known her for a long time, maybe close to a year, through our Republican GOP. And also, she is actually from my district, and I think went to school with my husband.
Oh, good.
So,
All right.
Where's that gonna leave me at now? What term? What's that?
You got a 3-year.
Okay.
You got a 3-year. Okay, that's fine.
Second that.
All right. I got a motion by First District Magistrate Sanders, a second by Second District Magistrate Logsdon to approve Shirley Jo Kaufman to a 2-year term to the Recreation Advisory Board. Sam, call the roll, please.
Flemmel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Sanders,
yes.
Logsdon,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, so I'm going to cut something out of the June 17th meeting since the gentleman is here right now, and I hope the court understands this. But Dave Jurgens is here. He's been a real yeoman at Southeast, on the Southeast Fire Board, great steward of our community for years. They have put him up for to be reappointed. His term is up June 30th, and while he's here and in person, so he doesn't have to come back on June 30th because I know he drinks coffee early in the morning. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion to appoint Dave Jurgens, reappoint Dave Jurgens to the Southeast Fire Board, 4-year commitment. In 2029, is that right, Candy? Or 2028? 2029. Yeah, 4 years. So it'll be 2029. Dave, you can stand up if you want to. I'm sure they know you, but there you go. There you go.
This will be my third term.
Right.
It's been a pleasure to be part of the fire department. I was actually on the fire department back in the 80s. Actually, one of the original fire trucks that we had.
Yep.
So, one of the things that I was really proud of is we have had news media at the firehouse in a long time. So,
Absolutely.
a couple very positive things about the school's about to open it. Sign we got only at 480, but they haven't been back. So
Okay.
keep everything out there. The budget will be finished up in this week and will be presented at the third Thursday of the month. As always, y'all are welcome to be out there and observe it. We've got a pretty good meeting. And I thank you all for the 2 new fire trucks. They were put into service about a month and a half, 2 months ago. Jerry was out there when we did the traditional push the trucks in. And that's the first time we've had 2 new trucks that I'm aware of, and that's probably the 2 most expensive ones we've ever bought. I think the first truck was $125,000.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dave.
I'll second.
I got a second by 4th District Magistrate Blingwell. Sam, call the roll.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Logsdon,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Flemmel,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank all of you all for your due diligence and your contributions to the 2025-2026 budget. And hopefully we'll get it back sooner than later and be able to move forward. And at this time, what time is it, Vera?
The time is 8:06.
Okay.
And I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion by First District Magistrate Sanders, a second by Second District Magistrate Logsdon to adjourn the Bullitt County Fiscal Court meeting at 8:06, June the 3rd. Sam, call the roll.
Sanders, Logsdon,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Flemmel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you.
The way I understand it on the poll, it needs to say.
Can't do that. Because that's a conglomeration of all of it. we put the 500,000 in there, you can't line item something for,
It's a lot more difficult than I anticipated.
it's just,
They keep putting Humpty Dumpty back together.
That's the main.
who?
30 years as an elevator constructor.
Got the knees and joints.
A lot of issues with the right side.
We had quite the conversation about that. I think you might want to talk to her again. I don't think she, I think she agrees that it doesn't have to stay poor. Okay, yeah.
It is what it is.
Good luck to you there, and keep doing all that good hard work.
Make Bullitt County look good.
We can talk about that later. Because Karen, from where I sit, they want us to put up $250,000 first.
Everything going well?
A little bit of a challenge keeping me all put together.
How's the board going?
No problem.
Somebody the other night, I was somewhere, and they said, well, they come in the last fire board meeting, and I said, oh, that's not good.
I was actually absent one of the few times I missed. And I don't recall anybody we asked from them.
I don't know, I can't even remember who the heck it was.
I mean, we run a very transparent.
Well, like I said, I don't go with this.
It may have been something over, we have an election this year, there's an election and law. So maybe Marty asked somebody from the newspaper to be a part of that. And that's another one of these $10,000